Thank you for coming to my presentation. My name is Emily Catalan, a current senior at Texas State University in the Agricultural Department. Today my research will discuss learning management software for teaching during COVID-19 and how gender does not play a role in faculty voluntary adoption. So in March 2020, COVID-19 forced people across the globe to obey lockdown orders and limit physical interaction with those outside of our personal households. Educational institutions were largely affected and were tasked with abruptly changing traditional face-to-face instruction to online learning, a consequence that still carries today. The forced adoption of online learning required post-secondary faculty to decide if they wanted to adopt different technologies and software, including learning management software, or LMS for short, to deliver instruction in an online environment. The diffusion of innovation theory was used to guide our study as a theoretical framework, which outlines factors that impact voluntary adoption of innovations. On the poster, you'll see below a graph of a curve. We have early adopters, we have early majority, late majority, and laggers. And you can see early majority and late majority are our two most significant population. And this just shows how one is more likely to adopt a new innovation. Our objective for the study determined how gender impacted post-secondary faculty adoption of LMS for teaching as a result of the pandemic. So for our methods, an electronic research developed survey-based instrument was utilized. The survey population was faculty and instructors teaching agriculture courses during the COVID-19 pandemic at the post-secondary level. Prior to the distribution, we established face validity and reliability of the instrument. Over 5 weeks of data collection, we received 255 usable responses. An order logic model was used to analyze the data since the dependent variable is ordinal. Other variables included in the model were the time indicator variable, before and as a result of COVID-19, and gender variable. So our results on our table 1, we have the effective time prior to and as a result of COVID, and then faculty gender on adaptation of LMS and LMS features for teaching. So for our general LMS usage, we have both the effective time and the effective time and gender. And then we also have our LMS features too. And below we have take attendance, administer quizzes, administer assignments, send individual message, send group messages, post answering lectures, post synchronous lectures, and post grades. As we see for our p-values, if the p-value is greater than 0.01, there was no significance, or there was no difference between a female and a male faculty in the usage of the LMS feature. As well, it's not on the table, however, there were coefficients for each of these categories. So the coefficient tells us how much more likely they were to adopt a certain feature. For example, for take attendance, 0.84 were more likely. Administrative quizzes, 0.97, they were more likely. Send individual messages, 1.17. Send group messages, 1.03. Post asynchronous lecture, 1.03. Post signature lectures, which happened to be the biggest one, 1.36 were more likely. And then we had our post grades, 0.97. For our discussion, we observed an increase in adoption of LMS and LMS features as a result of COVID-19, but as we saw, there was not an effect of gender, indicating that gender did not play a role in voluntary adoption of software for teaching as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Further work that can be done is a follow-up research to understand what other, if any, faculty demographics played a role in their adoption of LMS or LMS features, and that will help them in teaching due to the pandemic. As online education continues to increase and become part of a post-pandemic new normal, it's imperative for faculty to adopt technology and other innovations that allow for continuous communication and interaction with students in an online setting. The authors of the research would like to acknowledge the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, the Hispanic Serving Institution, HSI, and the Education Grants Program for funding the program 3EX Ag from 2020 to 2024. And we also like to acknowledge the Texas State University College of Applied Arts for providing supplementary funding through the Learning Community Grants. Thank you.